Season 4 is in the books and here is my recap. Stay tuned for the speed round on the last episode, hang on to your dundies and let's go! Michael is now living with Jan and on the way to work. As for the new status quo, Ryan is now a big jerk-off in corporate, Dwight and Angela are broken up because Dwight Mercy killed her cat Sprinkles, and Jim and Pam are...
Almost marrying Roy Anderson was as close to Pamela Anderson as I...
In a very long and confusing train of thought, Michael decides to hold a charity run to raise awareness for rabies, a well-known disease that already has a vaccine. Michael ends up in the hospital with Meredith and she forgives him. Jim and Pam finally reveal to the entire office that they are a couple, and someone isn't happy. Ryan arrives at Scranton to give a briefing about a mass restructuring of Dunder Mifflin. They are now going to launch a brand new website and everyone is also being forced to use a BlackBerry. Everyone is uncomfortable with the new technological movement the company is heading towards, especially Creed, who...
I like your cut, G.
Meanwhile, Kelly tells Ryan that she's pregnant. In a weird act of defiance, Michael decides to meet clients who have left them to give them gift baskets. Michael, who was misinterpreting a GPS, drives his car straight into a lake.
Mean that? There's a lake there. I think it knows where it is going. The machine knows. Stop yelling at me. No, it's not yelling. There's no road here.
He gets mad and decides to take back their gift basket.
Guys, get out of here.
Where are the turtles?
There's a launch party happening in New York for the new Dunder Mifflin website. Michael's invited to the party and decides to take Jim along with him. Dwight is taking the breakup with Angela hard and decides to prove to her that he can sell more reams of paper than the Dunder Mifflin website. He actually beats the website, but Angela doesn't care. Meanwhile, on the way to the party, Michael realizes his invitation was to a virtual online party which they were gonna broadcast back in Scranton. Phyllis has had enough of Angela. Andy, now figuring out that Angela is single, decides to court her. Michael and Dwight go to New York to steal some leftover sushi from the party. Michael has gotten a second job as a telemarketer because he is in severe debt due to Jan's exorbitant spending habits. When he arrives at the office after a long night of work, he forgets to prepare a presentation and Ryan is threatening to fire him.
You cannot have a second job if it affects your work here.
Meanwhile, Jim and Pam decide to stay at Dwight's bed and breakfast at his farm. It was an interesting stay.
Come in.
Dwight is also still coping with his breakup with Angela, and to cheer him up, Jim and Pam leave him a nice review on TripAdvisor. Jim consoles Dwight by sharing how he was devastated when Pam rejected him. Oh, Kelly and Daryl are hooking up too, I just thought I should mention that. Oscar helps Michael with his financials, and when Jan finds out, she admonishes Michael, causing him to run away to a nearby train track. Michael attempts to escape, but Jan catches up to him and confesses that when she lost her job at corporate, everyone close to her abandoned her. Everyone except Michael. They both walk away, determined to figure it out together. Corporate wants to film a local ad for the Scranton branch and Michael of course wants full creative control. Ryan of course says no, but Michael does it anyway. Pam and Michael stay up all night in the office to edit the logo and the video. Unsurprisingly, Michael's ad gets rejected and corporate airs the more standard version. As a treat though, Jim asks the bar to play Michael's version of the ad on their screen, and it's just so
Michael Scott director's cut. Hope you like it.
We find out that Karen was promoted to regional manager in Dunder Mifflin, Utica, and is recruiting someone from the Scranton branch by phone. Michael is devastated by the news and is trying to convince him to stay.
Let me ask you this. If I were...
Money.
When he can't make him stay, Michael decides to just raid the Utica branch and basically vandalize the entire place. Oh, and they kidnap Jim to bring along with them. When Mike and Dwight try to steal an industrial copier, Karen recognizes Jim. She finally gets her chance to grill the guy who broke up with her.
Things are going really well, are they? They are. That's great. That's so great. I want to hear more about how happy you are with Pam. Can you tell me more about that? Thank you so much for coming.
Back at the office, Stanley tells Michael that he's staying in Scranton.
I wasn't really planning on leaving.
I'll let Pam do the talking on this one.
Ryan invited some of the branch managers and Toby into the woods for a get-to-know-you weekend. Michael wasn't invited.
Michael gets jealous and wants to go on a solo camping trip. Yeah, that'll show him.
Oh, damn!
As Dwight drives Michael to his first-person screening of Castaway, Jim has an idea to plan a shared birthday party for all of the office workers. He quickly finds out that this might not be a very good idea, as everyone in the office is requesting Jim to get the cake of their choice. Michael does some foolishness in the woods, and when attempting to eat some mushrooms he didn't know were poisonous, Dwight tackles him. We get a moment between Jim and Michael where we see that they seem to be more alike than they think. Jen is suing Dunder Mifflin for...
Michael, that's tacky.
$1 million.
$4 million.
$4 million.
And Michael is testifying at a deposition. Back at the office, the warehouse guys get a new ping pong table and Daryl is trashing Jim at it to the delight of Kelly.
What has 2 skinny chicken legs and sucks at ping pong?
Hi, Kelly.
Pam tells Jim to get better at the game to stop Kelly's trash talking and he enlists the help of Dwight. At the deposition, Michael, who's basically been mistreated by both Jen and the company, is torn between who to testify against. Kelly continues trash talking and Pam loses it and challenges her to play instead. Jen reveals that she stole Michael's personal diary to give to her lawyer, who then exposes it to everyone present. Michael then chooses his side.
Hey, David. I think you're a nice guy too.
Thanks, Mike.
Why did I do it? Jan said it was because of the photo that she revealed the diary, but she already brought the diary with her to New York. So, you expect to get screwed by your company, but you never expect to get screwed by your girlfriend.
That's what she said.
Michael has invited Jim and Pam and Andy and Angela over for a dinner party. Sheesh, that's a lot of ands. They first get a tour of the house.
Exactly.
I thought you said that you were going to tidy things.
A lot of people in the room. You need more space. Voila.
Wow.
Dwight, who was not invited, brings a date over to make Angela jealous. Throughout the night, Michael and Jen snip at each other. The tension finally breaks when Michael decides to hang a giant neon beer sign on the wall. They both lose it.
That is a $200 plasma screen TV you just killed.
Michael has broken up with Jen and is now single and ready to mingle. Except he has very specific requirements.
I have a friend who's single.
Could we share a rowboat?
What are you asking?
Could a rowboat support her?
No, all right, no, she can't fit in a rowboat.
Damn, I knew it.
Dwight has a contact for a chair model to set up with Michael, but later finds out
She's dead?
Pam eventually sets up Michael with her landlord. She doesn't live up to his expectations and he basically treats her like shit. Jim and Pam joke about getting engaged.
Oh my god! Wow!
Michael decides to visit the grave of the chair model to basically reminisce about a life they never had. Michael, please, you have issues, boy. Michael's dating life hasn't been going too well and he's frustrated.
Hey, Michael, how was your date last night?
When Ryan comes by for a meeting, he casually mentions to Michael that he meets loads of hot women in the clubs in New York. Michael, inspired by the idea, decides to go down to New York with Dwight to party and possibly meet some women. Coincidentally, they meet Ryan there and he's weirdly psyched to see both of them. Meanwhile, back in the office, the crew work late to avoid coming in on a weekend but find themselves locked in the compound because Jim forgot to notify security. Stanley is not happy.
If I'm not in my bath with a glass of red wine in 1 hour, you're both dead.
Oh, shiver my timbers! Shut up, man! Go back on your old ways!
Did I stutter?
They call the security guard to come pick them up. Dwight gets lucky.
This needs to be shared.
Ryan gets a bit too hyped and they all get kicked out of the club. Back at Ryan's apartment, he admits that he's been doing drugs with his friend and they all sleep over for the night. Toby gets a little and then he Some cleaning ladies arrive and the office all get to go home.
Son of a bitch.
During a meeting, Michael goes around the room asking for ideas. He gets to Stanley, who...
We're having a brainstorm session.
Did I stutter? Toby tries to talk to Michael to address the incident, but since it's Toby, he isn't having it at all. Michael tries to awkwardly talk to Stanley, but is too scared to follow through. He asks Dwight and he's not helpful. He asks Daryl and he's not helpful. He finally decides to pretend to fire Stanley.
You're fired like a heart attack.
You're firing me over 3 words. Have you lost your mind?
When Michael reveals that he was just joking, Stanley gets even more set off.
Hey, stop it!
They hash it out, but Michael still demands that Stanley respects his authority.
But listen to me. You can't talk to me that way in this office. You just can't. I am your boss.
Fair enough.
Today I'm headed over to the job fair at Valley View High School to find some new interns. I want to get some fresh blood. Euthanize this place.
Jim is in danger of losing his job because of a poor performance review that Ryan gave him. So, he has to close a deal with a client on a golf course to prevent being fired. Dunder Mifflin's booth at the job fair has nothing except a blank sheet of paper. After a whole day with no interested high schoolers, Michael takes over the mic. Mike takes over the mic. Jim also hasn't had any luck the whole day, but determined to keep his job to support Pam, he ends up sealing the deal at the last second. Later, we see that Pam actually fills up an application for a design job. Today is Toby's last day at the office and no one is happier than Michael. Angela bitches about planning the party, so Phyllis is put in charge instead.
Phyllis, can you do this?
Yes.
Also, we meet Toby's replacement, Holly. Michael is instantly smitten with her. Pam also just got accepted into a new art school in New York and is going to be away for 3 months. Jim decides to propose today.
I'm going to propose tonight. Holy crap.
Watch your profanity.
Oh, and Ryan just got arrested due to committing fraud with the Dunder Mifflin website. There's a lot happening in this episode, so buckle up. Speed round! Jim calls Ryan and emphatically declares that he is not going to leave the job. Holly thinks Kevin is a person with special needs. Dwight and Meredith put a raccoon in Holly's car. Phyllis's party is amazing. Michael sings a song about Toby. Andy proposes to Angela and she says,
I said okay.
Jim was about to propose to Pam but holds off on it.
Damn it!
Michael finds out Jan is pregnant. And Phyllis hears something in the office. And we leave off season 4 right there. These videos take a long time to make, so I appreciate if you like the video, and if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, you can do so below. And I'll see you all in season 5. Peace.